Those of you watching this program no doubt recall when Bud Light decided to take a major, perhaps permanent L by having the biological male trans Dylan Mulvaney start doing these brand promotions with them, you know, lying in a bathtub with bubbles and women's swimsuits. Like, oh, I love Bud Light. It's so feminine. I promise I drink it. And my friend, Seth Weathers, at the time decided to launch his own beer company, of course, in response to the Bud Light backlash, because who the hell wants to give your money to go drink beer that tastes like piss, if we can just be honest, and at the same time, you know you're giving it to a company who hates you and instead wants to embrace someone like Dylan Mulvaney. So at the time, and if those of you who don't remember, I'm going to play the promotion that Seth released a couple years ago when Bud Light totally tanked and took that L. Here's the introduction of ultra-right beer. Watch.
America's been drinking beer from a company that doesn't even know which restroom to use. That's why I created Conservative Dad's ultra-right, 100% woke-free beer. As conservatives, we're constantly getting hit in the face, left and right, by the woke mind virus. But the last place we want it is in our beer. If you know which bathroom to use, you know what beer you should be drinking. Stop giving money to woke corporations that hate our values. And to the rest of you woke corporations, stay the away from our kids.
It was
buy yours online in 42 states at ultrarightbeer.com.
a tremendous success there
Tastes like
from this. And you know what? I can confirm it does taste like freedom. We drink that exclusively in our house. And I can confirm it does not turn you gay. So there's that. Well, Seth just announced that Bud Light, rather their parent company, Anheuser-Busch, has now filed a federal case against him and ultra-right beer. Here is some of that announcement. Watch.
Just when you thought it was over, we're taking her out of retirement for one more mission.
2 years ago, I used this bat to smash a Bud Light can, and over 100 million people watched as we sent a message, built a company, and a movement. Still has the blue stain. But now, Bud Light's parent company, Anheuser-Busch, is coming after Conservative Dad's ultra-right beer. They filed a federal legal case against us, claiming our name could be confused with their brand. The reality is, we helped expose their woke nonsense to millions of Americans, and now they're angry, and they want revenge. They waited until the very last day they could file this, hoping it would go unnoticed and Americans would have forgotten about their ridiculous woke ideology. They know they can't win at trial. They just want to drown us in legal fees, bleed us dry, and make sure no conservative small business dares to call them out again. But I'm not going to let that happen. We've overcome many impossible obstacles since starting this company. I'm not going to give in now. We're going to fight, and we're going to win. Anheuser-Busch thinks they can destroy us through lawfare with fancy lawyers and piles of cash. But we're going to win it with people. In the past, we've given over $150,000 to conservative causes that fight against woke insanity, including the Trump campaign. But today, because we're the new target of the woke left, we've set up a Give, Send, Go fundraising campaign for people who want to stand with us in our fight. This is our David versus Goliath moment. We know how that story ends.
Join the fight. Contribute now at dadsversbud.com.
I'd like to welcome to the program, of course, founder of Conservative Dad's brand, as well as ultra-right beer, Seth Weathers, my friend. Thank you for joining me.
Good to be here.
I just have to know, Seth, are those beers behind you, are they still full?
They are.
Can I have them? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Listen. We've got some. I'm not kidding. But I am, only because we do already have some in the fridge, and we try to at all times because it's a wonderful beer. So, Seth, I just have to ask, I'm having a little bit of trouble understanding what could be confusing about your beer. It's called Ultra Right. The cans are behind you. It looks nothing like Bud Light, or, I mean, is it Bud Light that they're claiming that people might get confused about? Did they say?
So the reality is it's retribution for that first video that you saw that has about 100 million views online, and they've really had it out against us since that time, and I can see why. So what we filed for a trademark is the full phrase "conservative dads ultra right." They are saying that can be confused with the trademark Michelob Ultra, which is one of their other brands. I mean, the level of how far off that is, like, again, it's not just ultra right that we're requesting the trademark for. It's conservative dads ultra right is that full phrase. And they're saying that Michelob Ultra can be confused. And I can assure you, no one confuses our beer with whatever's in their cans.
No, of course not. And I mean, again, the brand, the packaging looks entirely different. I mean, you'd have to be absolutely retarded to be like, oh, this looks like the same thing. I mean, look at that. Look at that.
And not only that, the messaging. And, the thing is, they know that this is not a winnable case when you go to trial on this. But these things can take, it could be 2 years before we actually get to that point, which there's a bunch of back and forth with lawyers leading up to that time. So their goal is just to bleed us dry financially. They waited. They wanted to be as far away from their scandal as possible. And so there's a certain amount of time that they could file opposition to our trademark to. They waited until the last day that you could file and filed for an extension, which is allowed. And then they waited till the last day of the extension to actually file their case. Oh. So they wanted to be as far away from it. They're hoping people had forgotten about it. They'd forgotten about us, and it would just, go under the radar. They bleed us dry for 2 years, and, they'd be back to where they are. And they, from what I understand, they have a history of this. And look, this is just what people are seeing on the outward. We've had a lot of behind the scenes nonsense that they push for a multi-billion-dollar brand. They seem a little obsessed with us. So it's a little funny in that case, but they have a lot of money and they have a lot of attorneys.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously am a fan of small government and less regulation, but it feels like in, the sense of what's happening to you right now, in the grand scheme of things, when you have these large corporations with all of these millions of dollars that they can just blow on legal fees to try to this is really a competition of who can run out of money first. When it comes down to it, you would just think that there would be some sort of legislation that could be passed that could prevent the Goliaths from going after the Davids.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly that would be, how that could be, sorted out, because there's certainly legitimate cases as well. And the thing is, we don't have to have as much money as they have to win this case. We just have to have enough money to go through with the case. And so they can spend 10 times as much as us, but as long as we just have the money to actually go through the entire drug out case, then it's going to be a very clear case, and they really have no standing. There's even been people that have, I saw some comments in Newsweek from some, I guess, trademark attorneys saying, there's really not a case here on their part, so they probably wouldn't win this. And again, their people know that, and so it's a classic case of massive billion-dollar industry saying, hey, we're just going to crush them with legal fees. And the reality is, any billion-dollar company, and I'm learning, these kinds of things happen more often than you would maybe think. Companies go in, billion-dollar companies, they see somebody they don't like, they file a bunch of stuff, they keep filing. You have to keep paying your attorneys, and you can't have crap. I mean, I would represent myself, but I just feel like me in court with Anheuser-Busch, It would be very fun, be very entertaining. I think people would enjoy the video afterwards, but I don't know that it would be the most sound legal argument. Yeah. But it would be entertaining to be in the room. So I'm trying to avoid that. Yeah. Contain myself.
Sure. Wait, so you do already have an attorney that's working on this, or you're still? Yes. Okay. All right. And you are happy with your attorney?
Yeah, they're great. And they're, one thing is they're going to have to bring in an additional person to help, because they're seeing that, okay, this is actually going to go the distance to help with it. And it's a bunch of minute nonsense over something that
anyone can look at and be like, well, okay, there's no case here, but you still have to go through the process to prove it. It's, it's almost like a guilty until proven innocent kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, we were talking earlier about all of the swatting situation that's going on with conservatives. They're being clearly constantly under attack. I would call it attempted murder when these types of things happen. And so it's like we are dealing with the other side, the other party, who really, if they can't have you dead, they want to completely ruin you. They want to ruin your livelihood. They do not want you to be able to participate in this free capitalistic society that we have here in America.
Yeah, well, I get death threats too, so I think they want all of the above for me.
Yeah, for sure. How dare you expose and go against Dylan Mulvaney, their queen, Seth?
Quite literally. Yeah, that, and I don't know if something I learned the other day. So they have him under what is evidently they paid him I don't know what the sum is, but I heard it's a large sum of money to have an NDA to not actually discuss the details of what went on there.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think there's even more to that story than a lot of us know, and that, would be wildly interested to know what that is.
Yeah.
But evidently he's taking the money and keeping quiet.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Well, Seth, obviously this is totally screwed up what they're doing to you. And I want to make sure that we have on the bottom of the screen, make sure to have where people can go. Tell them one more time where they can go to donate.
Yeah, it's dadsvsbud.com. dadsvsbud.com. We've got essentially a GoFundMe. We're using GiveSendGo, which is supportive of conservative companies, to raise money to help us continue this fight. And we've given away a lot of money in the past to conservative causes. Didn't think we would be on this end of it, but we're going to fight through this. And look, it's just another bump in the road. Jumping into this industry, especially the way we did, was not necessarily going to be easy. So we've had a lot of things thrown at us, so it's par for the course. And we'll survive this one too.
Yeah. All right. Well, by the way, do you have Border Wall tequila in stock?
I do.
It's so good. Okay.
I should have one here, but I don't. We do.
Guys, listen, go donate. But also, if you just want like a great tasting beer that's not going to turn you gay, and also if you like tequila, they have this Border Wall tequila, and I'm a tequila expert because my last name's Gonzales. So
it is great tequila, and I should give credit a little bit there. That's not conservative dad, really. That's conservador papa that helped us come up with that one. He wears a mustache.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. It's weird because he looks really similar to conservative dad, but it's crazy how that works. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.